Shalom, all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rakakodash, double honors to the elders, great millstone. There's a video I just came across on TikTok, and I want to do a lesson on it. So I'm going to just play it first, and then I'm going to bring out a few scriptures.
From partying, and we're like, well, let's stop and get some food at McDonald's. And we're waiting in line, and there's a car ahead of us. So she starts, I'm driving, she's in the passenger seat. She starts beeping my horn at them because they're taking so long. And mind you, it's like 1 a.m, you know. So she sticks her head out the window. There was a girl in the driver's seat. She popped her head out the window, and they're arguing back and forth. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like, chill out. It's not that serious. You're starting shit with people for nothing. So they start arguing back and forth. And I eventually pull her back in the car. They go and they park at the end of the McDonald's in the parking lot. I could see them right at the end of the drive-thru. And I'm like, listen, we're just going to get our stuff and we're going to go. I said, don't do anything crazy, please. So the guy at the window, he says, is everything all right? You guys good? I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. We're good. So get our stuff. I go to pull around and just pass them. And as I pulling by them, I'm looking in my side view mirror. I see them throw a bottle at my car. Instantly, I'm like, it's go time. I threw my car in park. I reach in the back. I grab the wrench because I have tools. I hand her a wrench.
You're handing your girl a wrench.
Yep. Well, in my mind, right, I'm thinking they have bottles. They have weapons. Like, you know, that's if it's going to be that to that extent, then we should be prepared. And no one's going to just throw shit at my car, you know, like. So we stop, we hop out. She runs over and and mind you, I have a knife on me. So I brandish my knife and I say one-on-one because there was 2 girls and there was 1 guy. I didn't know there was even a guy in the car at the time. I just thought it was 2 chicks.
This is in the middle of the drive-thru.
Well, not in the middle of the drive-thru. It was in the back in the parking lot. So they start. She runs up. She hits her in the head with the wrench, and the wrench at some point gets dropped. And they're tussling. They're fighting. I have my knife out, and the guy and other girl clearly see that. Like let them fight. No one's jumping. You know, let that be what it is. And someone drove by behind me and goes, yo, the cops are coming. I'm like, oh, great. So I go over there. They have each other by the hair at this time. And I go over there to grab her to get out of there. Now, I don't know if this guy thought that maybe I was going to do something else. Maybe, you know, try to stab somebody, but that was not my intentions. I'm on parole at the time, mind you. I'm trying to get out of Dodge. Like, let's go. So when I go over there, at some point in time, he picked up the wrench and cracked me over the 2 girls, hit me on the top of my head. And I saw a white flash, and when I came back to, I just seen him, and I stabbed him in his head. I almost, if it was a little farther up, it would have been in his temple, but it was right about here. And it went into his skull, and it lacerated his brain. Yeah, it was pretty serious. But when he stepped back and he was like, why did you do that? And at the point in time, I didn't know I was leaking from my head, but I knew I got hit with something because I've been in fights. I've been punched. I've been punched by pretty big dudes. You know, I can take a beating, but that was not no punch in the head. I knew it instantaneously. So it's either, you know, fight or flight at that point for me, and I chose to fight back. So we end up getting in the car, getting in the car, drive down the street. I throw the knife out the window. We go to her house, and I'm in full panic mode now. Like, great, they're gonna find me. What am I gonna do? I'm bugging on her. So we're at her house, and I call one of my friends who still was up. He drove by the McDonald's. He said, Bro, it's all taped off right now. There is about 20 cop cars there. I'm like, "Yo, stop lying to me." He's like, "No." I'm like, "Great." So now I'm thinking in my head, hopefully they don't know, like somehow link it to me. So I didn't go to sleep either. And I'm just waiting and I'm waiting. They end up coming to her house. And you know how they found out to come to her house? Because the manager who runs that McDonald's knew her by first name. And her name is, I'm not going to put her name out there, obviously, but it was a unique name and she's been in some trouble before. So they're like, well, let's go pop over her house and see what's going on there. So they show up, and I'm still leaking from my head at the time. And they took us down to the police station. And
Did they like swarm the house? Or are they treating you like a hostile?
it was only a couple cop cars because at the time they didn't have much to go off of. The police were called, somebody got stabbed, and they didn't really have much. They come back from partying and we're like, well, let's stop and get some food at McDonald's. And we're waiting in line and there's a car ahead of us. So she starts, I'm driving, she's in the passenger seat. She starts beeping my horn at them because they're taking so long. And mind you, it's like 1 a.m, so.
So, there's some scriptures that go into not being around people like this, so I'm gonna grab that, and I'm also be reading from the Good News translation. That whole situation started off just being around the wrong person, and also somebody being impatient, somebody just being emotional, well, a lot of people being emotional actually. So I'm gonna start out with Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, as it's written, 8:15 in the KJV. It says, "Travel not by the way with a bold fellow, lest he become grievous unto thee. For he will do according to his own will, and thou shalt perish with him through his folly." So if you traveling with somebody that's a hothead, or they're hothead, they're impatient, they're emotional, they're gonna do according to their own will. So that means they're gonna do whatever they want, even if you tell them not to. That's why it's very important to know who you're surrounding yourself with, to prove who you're calling your friend, to prove whoever you keep company with, because you can be keeping company with any type of person, and all hell can break loose. It can lead to your death. It can lead to anybody's death. It can lead to you being in jail or whatever. You ruining your life. So I'm gonna read from the GNT, and it says, "You should not travel with anyone who is reckless. It will cause you nothing but trouble. He will do any foolish thing he pleases, and you will die with them." All right. And then verse 16, I'm gonna read 16 in the KJV right now, and then I'm gonna go back to the GNT. It says, "Strive not with an angry man, and go not with him into a solitary place, for blood is as nothing in his sight, and where there is no help, he will overthrow thee." So I'm gonna go back to the GNT and read 16. It says, "You shall not go into an argument with anyone who has a hot temper, or go to some place where the two of you will be alone. Violence mean nothing to such a person, and he will attack you where there is no one to help you." All right. So it's all about basically you want to avoid some type of conflict, like Apostle Paul said, if possible, be in peace with all people. Roughly paraphrasing, if it be possible, be in peace with all. So I'm gonna go to Proverbs 22 and 24. It says, "Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go. lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. Because just like the book of Corinthians says, bad communications corrupt good manners, roughly paraphrasing. Like I went into the last video, evil communication corrupt good manners. So the people you hang around with, eventually you can become influenced by them. Like the brother said, you can be infected by them, so you can pick up bad traits. You know, you can just start following their ways or pick up certain things that they do. You know, so you want to, like I said before, you want to be mindful of who you're around. And I'm going to find it in the GNT. Proverbs 22, verse 24. It says, don't make friends with people who have hot, violent tempers. You might learn their habits and not be able to change. All right. And that was 24 and 25. Okay. And then the next scripture I want to grab is Proverbs 15 and 18. It says, a wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. And that read in GNT is, so there's Proverbs 15 and verse 18. In the GNT, it says, hot tempers cause arguments, but patience brings peace. So if that woman would have just had patience, you know, they just sitting in a line, man. It's not even that serious. It's really not serious. You just, what is going to take a few more seconds or what, like a minute or two? It's not that serious, man. Like, that's why you don't want to be around emotional people. You know, you don't want to be around a loudmouth woman, an impatient woman, a super emotional woman. She can't control her emotions. She can't be quiet. She can't listen to you. You just, even a man, you know, which a man is not even supposed to be like that, but there are men like that. You just don't want to be around a person that's like that, you know. So, also got Proverbs 16 and 32. It says, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh the city. Because you have people that boast in being, you have people that boast in having a hot temper. They try to scare people. They try to sound all tough. But the Lord said, he that is slow to anger is better than him. You know, you better than the mighty, because you can control your emotions. You know, in the GNT, let me see. It says, it is better to be patient than powerful. It is better to win control over yourself than over whole cities. All right. Because discipline is very important. Discipline, I mean, I can't even explain how important discipline is, but, you know, discipline can get you very far. You know, discipline is very important to the Lord. All right. Let's see. I want to grab one more scripture and close out with that. Sirach 28 and verse 8. It says, abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins, for a furious man will kindle strife. All right. Then going to the GNT. This is Sirach 28 and verse 8 in the GNT. And it says, if you stay out of arguments, you will not sin so much, because a hot temper gets them started. So all of that originated from somebody not being able to control their emotions, somebody being impatient, somebody not listening to good advice, because it was good advice. That man, the man in the video, he was telling a woman she was tripping. She need to chill out. Like, it's not even that serious. But, you know, and I don't know if she was drunk or not. I can't remember what it said in the beginning, you know, but it kind of sounded like what a drunk person would do, or somebody that's literally just can't control their emotions and want to act all wild. Because you have some people that'll do that. Some people will just act a certain way because they're around somebody else, you know. And then they'll sit back and see the, you know, the consequences that happen. Sometimes they don't even be affected by it. You know, they can get somebody else in trouble. You know, just because something they started. They can instigate, they can start something, and then other people will suffer from that, and they just sit behind and watch it. You know, they enjoy it. All right, so you want to be mindful of who you're around. You want to prove who you're around, and just stay away from somebody that's like that, emotional person, somebody that's, you know, impatient. They like to start stuff. You know, an angry man, angry woman. You want to separate from them. You know, because it can lead to your death or somebody else's death. All right, I'm gonna close out with that, giving all praise to Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shah. Shalom.